Hi, I'm Milena. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to March TBR board. I'm really looking forward to play this round of TBR board. I do have a very intimidating book club read for March and April, so that may be the biggest chunk of my reading in March in general. But I'm excited to add some more books in the mix. I'm really targeting classics this month because I'm in the vibe for that. In the beginning of this year I've read a lot of contemporary and different genres, and now I want to get back to the things that I love most, which are classics. So I hope we can add some classics in the mix this month. But first I do have two book club reads. The first is for the Hobbitses book club read, and that is The Water Dancer. This is a historical fiction that Lucy picked for us for this month. This was for February and March, so I'm going to read it in March. This is about an enslaved boy who loses his mother young in his life because she is sold, and then it is about him living in the south and I think moving to the north, which looks like a utopian world to him. And there is some magical realism in this book as well, so I'm really curious to see how that aspect is interwoven within it. I've never read anything by this author, but I've heard a lot of wonderful things about this novel. Very intimidating book club read I told you about is War and Peace by Lev Tolstoy. I'm going to read this with Rosin's book club, which is called the Big Book Book Club, I believe. And she invited me and Charlotte from Toni Reads to join with the massive classic she wanted to read for a book club. And we picked War and Peace. This has been on my TBR for a long time, and I'm not going to read from this edition, I think, because it's so pretty, and I think if I would read it, it would get quite damaged. This is more of a collector's edition that Boy got me, I think 2 years ago. So I think I will listen to the audiobook and just read a chunk of it every day. And I will definitely need the full 2 months for this, so you will see this on my TBR next month as well. But whatever this TBR is going to do, this baby is going to get read. So without further ado, let's do the first roll. Alright, last time we played TBR boards, we ended right here on non-fiction with a silver lining. So let's do the first roll of the March TBR. A 2. 1, 2, which is a Toni Morrison. First of all was one of my author titles, and that was Toni Morrison, which you can see I'm a big fan. And I'm going to read Paradise. I have not heard a lot of people talk about this novel by Toni Morrison. I think the main reason maybe because it's set in the 70s and it has a lot of political influences. I think the core of this story is about a church being attacked. It says 4 young women are brutally attacked in a convent near an all-black town in rural Oklahoma in the mid-70s, setting the birth of the civil rights movement, Vietnam, the counterculture and politics of the late 1970s. Most of Toni Morrison's more popular books are set earlier in the past, but yeah, this was the next one on my list, and I am scared at how much it's going to impact me because it sounds like very difficult themes, which Toni Morrison always writes about more difficult themes, but I think when her core theme is family, it's a bit easier for me to read than when the core theme is politics. But yeah, I'm glad to be reading another Toni Morrison. Roll number 2 is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is Top 20 Classics TBR. The next title was Top 20 Classic Style, and I do need to refilm this video because I think most of these books I read. But we're going to grab a random number generator and then I will look at the video and see which book matches the number, but it's possible we have to respin. Alright, so between 1 and 20 it generates 15. Okay, let's see what it is in the video. Oh, I have to scroll really far. There we go. Number 11 is another summary book. This is Summer Romance book. I think this is really like a feel-good. Mansfield and Virginia Woolf have some similarities within their writing, so 14 I just read something by Catherine Mansfield. I have 2 novels by George Eliot I want to read. The first one I want to get to is Silas Marner. Okay, I've read Silas Marner, so we will have to respin. Okay, generate 13. Oh, we just saw that one. Let's see. I've never read anything by Empery, so I'm really curious to see what she's like as an author. 13 I have not read, so that's perfect. Let's see. I don't know why, but I have delayed reading this for quite a bit because it seems so damn heartbreaking. But this is Empery. It's the street. It's set in New York in the 1940s. It's set in Harlem, which I do really like the artist from the Harlem Renaissance, even though that was a bit earlier. But I hope maybe we can see some influence of that in this book. That'd be awesome. We follow Lottie Johnson is determined to build a new life for herself and her 8-year-old son, Bob. A life that they can be proud of. Having left her unreliable husband, Lottie believes that with the hard work and resolve, she can begin again. She has faith in the American dream. Oh dear, that's not going to go well, is it? Wow, I am really setting up for heartbreak already with this TBR. Rule number 3. Another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is phone a friend. Rule number 3 was phone a friend. I just asked the Hobbitses who was available, and Sarah was available, so I know what she will pick. Probably. Oh, if she's going to pick the Count of Monte Cristo, I'm going to say no because I'm reading War. Oh my gosh, Sarah, don't. Okay, so I said to the camera that if you're going to pick the Count of Monte Cristo, I'm going to say no because I need to read War and Peace. So don't. You were planning to, weren't you? I know that.
I thought you were going to give me options and then I was going to choose from the options.
As long as I own it, then it's fine by me. But I can show you my TBR trolley if that works.
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay,
please.
okay, this is the first bit.
The first thing you pan to is fucking Emily Henry.
I know, it's not a hint at all. I have more classics though, but they're on the shelves.
Show me the classics.
It's okay, I want to read classics. So I have some Hardy, I have some Forster.
Oh.
I have Chekhov unread, and I have one Daphne du Maurier unread. Let's see, I have a little bit more. Oh my gosh, it's such a mess out here. I have a few modern classics, like Things Fall Apart. I think that's an African classic. These are all the Ice Palace. Those are all unread.
Any other books? Like any other like?
Oh, those are also unread, I think. Like Lady Catelyn's Lovers unread, and George Eliot as well.
Okay, I'm not gonna make you read George Eliot because you're reading Romola right now.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I have some fantasy unread too. I have.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna make you continue reading the Broken Earth series.
So this one, like the second one.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah, the second one. Glad I could be of service.
Thank you.
Go to sleep now.
You're the best. Thank you so much. Have a good night. See you in the morning. Sarah is the best. Sarah is the absolute best. Yes, I want some fancy in this. So this is the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. But I really enjoyed the first one. I especially really enjoyed the writing in the 5th season. I thought it was so good. I really liked the mystery that was in the first book, and I kind of guessed it quite early on, which made me so proud of myself. I have such a positive experience with that series. I know that the second one and the third one aren't as good as the first one, but I don't care. I love the main character, and the side characters are super interesting as well. It has been a while though, so I need to recap my knowledge of the first book. I mean, to be honest, there are 2 fantasy series that I've almost finished, so when I read this, I have like 3 fantasy series that I only have to read the last book. Well, I'm catching up on series. Thank you so much, Sarah. This was a really, really great pick. Rule number 4 is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is non-fiction. Rule number 4 was non-fiction, and I have a lot of non-fiction planned for this year, but all of them are older text. So I thought that in the months I am not reading for Feminism she wrote, I could read more modern feminist text, or yeah, I think feminist text mainly. So this month I'm going to read Hood Feminism, written by Mickey Kendall, and the subtitle is Notes from Women the White Feminists Forgot. This is not going to be an easy TBR. I see all of this laying down, and I feel like all of these books are like heavy on political things, but I think I'm kind of up for that. I think I'm kind of in a mood to read books that will stimulate me and that will make me think, and I think this one definitely will. I know that a lot of people have read this, quoted this, learned from this, and I hope to be included in that group of people. Rule number 5 is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a modern classic. Rule number 5 was a modern classic, and of course I could pick a lot of that, but I'm going to pick a review copy that I got, because then at least I will read it sometime soon. And those are short stories from Tove Ditlevsen. These short stories were translated from Danish to the Dutch, and it's mainly about family life. This was written in the middle of the 20th century, and this is Tove Ditlevsen. I love that they added a photo of her in here. The short stories were published in Danish in 1963, translated in Dutch in 2023. So I'm really happy to read this. Again, this was a review copy, so I will post, I think, a review of this on Instagram, which is usually what I do with review copies. And the last roll is a one, which is a historical fiction. We got no doubles this time, that is special. It's a historical fiction with a silver lining, so that means with TBR cards. And we get this TBR card, which is Instagram poll. The last roll was historical fiction with a TBR card, and the TBR card that I got was, let's see, oh my gosh, zoom in, Instagram poll. So that means that you get to pick the historical fiction I'm going to read. I don't have a lot of historical fiction on my own TBR because I did a historical fiction vlog a while back and I read most of the historical fiction that I own. So these books, I think, have historical fiction as a subgenre, but it's all set earlier than when it was written. I will post the vlog on Instagram when I upload this video, and you will be able to vote for 24 hours after this video is uploaded. Link to my Instagram is in the description down below. So I have three options. The first one is The Night Circus by Angela Carter. This is set in 19th century London and it was written in the 20th century. I don't know when. 50s? Probably? Let's see. Let's be accurate. Oh no, this was written in the 1980s and it's set in London in the 19th century. It is set in a circus and it is about a woman who is part human and part swan, which sounds fascinating and probably creepy since it's Angela Carter. Then I have a generational family story that I've been meaning to pick up a lot. I have to say, looking at the rest of my TBR, I'm not sure if I could take the heartbreak of this book. It was one of the few historical fiction on my own TBR, and that is Homegoing by Yagasi. A lot of people have read this, so if you want my thoughts on it, vote for this one. The last book, like, should I put this on my TBR because it's chunky? And I'm also reading War and Peace, and that is Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie. This is magical realism and it is set during the independence of India. Born at the stroke of midnight at the exact moment of India's independence, Salim Sinai is a special child. However, this coincidence of birth has consequences he is not prepared for. Telepathic powers connect him with 1,000 other midnight children. Yeah, I bought this because Kieran from Katie Books said it's amazing, and he posted a raving review of this book, which I think was one of his first videos that he posted. So let me know which, like, these are all red books, which red book you want me to read during an Instagram poll. I feel like I also had the poll prompt the last time we played TBR board. That was an Instagram poll. I think that is a poll I put on YouTube. But this is an Instagram poll. So I didn't get any of my book club reads on there. Like, to be honest, I could have put this one for the Instagram poll, but I don't know. I don't want to. I just want you guys to pick like a book for me and not be super nice because you know it's a book club read. So the TBR board picked these books for me. Little lower on classics than I would have liked. Most of these are modern classics and of course one fantasy and a non-fiction. I have these two, so dear me, and we have one from the poll. So more than enough books for me to enjoy. So don't forget to vote on Instagram and you guys can decide my reads again. You picked like a great book last time for me because Frenchman's Creek by Daphne du Maurier was everything I wanted it to be. I'll talk about it in my wrap up, which will be one of the first videos after this video, but oh dear, like sexy pirates allure, loved it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to hear my thoughts on these books, then make sure to subscribe so you can watch my monthly wrap-ups or any vlogs in which I discuss these books. I hope that you have a lovely day or evening and I hope to see you in another video. Doei!